Today I will be talking about Bob Marley. As we all know, Bob Marley is famously known for smoking the Jamaican ganja and his reggae music. But there is way more to his memorable legacy that not everybody knows of. Bob Marley is a person I look up to because he taught me how to live in a peaceful lifestyle in a corrupt, violent world. He taught me how to see the good in the most horrible times. Not only did he teach me, but he taught the world. He left a sensational legacy on the world that will live forever. Bob Marley, when he was born in 9 Mile, St. Anne's Parish, Jamaica. He was born there and he was left there on his mother's father's farm for about 6 years. Then he moved to Trenchtown, Jamaica. Well, Bob Marley, he wasn't a big fan of school because his growing up in Jamaica, it was a very ghetto society where he didn't have a lot of food, shelter, water, and clothing. So he didn't really go to school because he didn't really feel like it was necessary because it didn't provide for him like he wanted to. So he dropped out. He started singing with his friends on the street corners, and then one day, this musical coordinator came by and said, "You have a real talent for music." And it was him and his friends, Bunny and Peter. They were all just singing on the corner, and they told him to come by the studio one day to record. So they went to record, and it was in 1963 when they went to record, and their group was called the Wailing Wailers. And they made a song called Simmer Down. It was their top hit that got them to start their career. And it brought them a considerable success in Trenchtown, Jamaica. And in Trenchtown, not everybody was successful. It was a very few people that actually were known in Trenchtown, Jamaica. And as of Bob Marley, he wasn't really a relationship type of guy, but he had relationships with females. But he wasn't really faithful and loyal to them. But he had a whole lot of kids. He had 11 kids with 4 different wives. His main wife was Rita Marley. He married her in 1966, and they had 3 kids. Stephen Marley, his daughter, and he had another son by her. And Bob Marley, he's similar to me as in the father aspect because his father wasn't in his life as much as he should have been. His mom was 14 years old when he met his father, his father was 60 years old, and he rode on a horse a lot. He rode on a horse a lot, and they didn't really come to see him as much. So after 4 or 5 years of his life, after he moved to Trenchtown, he didn't really see him. So he just left his life, and that's how my father was. After 6 years, he was in and out trying to support my younger stage of life, and then he just gave it up to my mom, and I'm thankful for her. And career-wise, Bob Marley was a Rastafarian, and not a lot of people know about Rastafarian, the religion. It's a faith that they don't just smoke marijuana, but that's what they do. It gives them a spiritual sensation to really get deep into their religion. And they go around Jamaica talking about how they believe Haile Selassie, who was a former emperor of Ethiopia, and they believe that he was a black messiah that appeared in Jamaica in the flesh to redeem the blacks that were exiled in the world of white oppressions. This religion was founded in 1930, and I'm not a Rastafarian, but I'm a Christian, and some of their beliefs are similar characteristics to what I believe in. And from a Christian perspective, we don't believe in eating the swine, the pig, and they don't believe in that either. And they don't believe in drinking alcohol. They don't believe in cutting their hair and going bald. They have to grow their hair out to get dreads. Well, not to get dreads, but they just grow their hair out. And they smoke herb, like I said. The Wailers, they were really famous in Trenchtown. They started their first official tour that was worldwide in 1973. And Bob Marley, he was a peaceful man that was all about peace. But one day in 1977 at 8:45 p.m., December 3rd, house raiders came in and shot his house down. They shot Bob Marley, Rita Marley, and two of his managers were there. Everybody survived the horrible incident, but Bob Marley wanted to make it known that day that he was still about peace. So after he recovered, a year later, he went and did this Jamaican peace concert, which basically was he was in the concert and he lifted up his shirt and he showed the bullet wounds, and he was just telling everybody that he is still alive and he's still all about peace. He's not going to react with violence, but he's going to react in peace. So that's how basically I want to live my life. I don't want to react in violence in this world. I just want to be peaceful, because you can't fight violence with violence. You can only fight violence with peace, because more violence isn't going to make a difference. So although Bob Marley was a good man, his life came to an end short. One day he was talking to his friends on the corner about his Rastafarianism, and then he just fell out on the ground and just had a seizure, and he started foaming at the mouth, and everybody was like, "Bob, are you okay? Like, what's wrong?" And then he wouldn't get up, he wouldn't answer, and like 5 minutes later, he just jumped up and then act like nothing ever happened. So they rushed him to the hospital. The doctor went there, they didn't know what was wrong with them. They told him to come back if it keeps happening. So it kept happening, and they came back one day, and while he was at the doctor, he had a stroke, and it paralyzed him in the face. So then he went back, and then the doctor diagnosed him with cancer. He had cancer in the lungs, the blood, and yeah, that was it, the lungs and the blood. And then the cancer got worse throughout the months, and then he had to go bald. He had to cut his dreads, and his dreads really meant something to him because he was a Rastafarian. So at that point, he really knew that his life was coming to an end. So he still lived his peaceful life for the rest of his months, but he died in 1981, 36 years old. But as you can see, Bob Marley, who was born in a third world country, is one of the most influential activists in the world. He went through a lot of adversity and controversial situations in his life, just like myself, and stayed strong to what he believed in and persevered for 36 successful years. And then I have a video that it's a quote that really changed my life around, and I just want to share it with y'all today. How do I get it over there?
Hit video mute.
Where is that?
It's on the little black tab. Tap the screen. So you see all the lights.
I didn't pop up. Do I have to press one of these?
Turn it.